Hello everyone, welcome to Phase 1, the show where we look at pre-release content. Today we're going to be looking at a little game called Overwatch. So I originally promised to do a video on this a while back, and honestly, when I started playing it, I actually hated it. Because I just didn't get it, I didn't understand it. And after I watched a podcast about people talking about Overwatch, I'm like, maybe it's still not for me anyway. I saw the game what it really was. When I first started showing trailers, everyone was like, "Oh god, it's a TF2 clone." I'm like, "Oh, sweet, TF2 clone made by Blizzard." And it's not exactly that. It has certain elements like TF2, but it's far, far different. So let's just have a look at the video options really quick. Again, this is all subject to change, so we're not going to be sticking here too long. But check this out. You might be thinking, "Oh, that's not too many options." Nope. It's got plenty of things here. Game looks pretty nice, although it could look a little bit better. It's nothing like... It won't blow your mind, but there are some really cool effects here and there. Particle effects are done really well. And it runs very well, although not at Ultra, which is typical for any Blizzard game. Sound, always. Blizzard always has, the best options menus. Just, God, it's so great. Multiple options for rebinding. You can also use a controller if you want to just get stomped in. So, always skip kill cam, kill feed display, social, profanity filter. Let's actually turn that off. I don't know why. This is always on, and in games like WoW, it keeps defaulting to on. It's incredibly annoying, but anyway. So, what is it specifically? Well, I did mention TF2. Yes, it is a team-based class shooter, but it's one of the it's something kind of weird where the skill, the entry level is so low, yet the skill ceiling is so high. Easy to learn, hard to master. But you really have to understand, you have to go into this game knowing what it is, because if you think, it's just going to be another TF2 clone, you're going to be very confused and a little bit bitter with it. Alright, so let's look through the hero gallery here. So, these are all the heroes that are going to be available at launch. The game is going to retail for $40, which is very good. It's a multiplayer-only game. If I were to make one big complaint, is that there's a lack of modes and a lack of maps, obviously. Now, it needs a couple more modes, and it could do with one or two more maps, for sure. But the core game right there, it feels very much complete. Maybe it needs a couple extra things here and there, but they did add in this build the loot system, which we'll get into in a second. And of course we'll get into a game. So, they haven't said they want to charge for things like shops, and there's a shop thing right here. So is this going to be an in-game gold kind of thing? Is this going to be actual money, microtransactions? We don't know. Now, thankfully they're all skins. I don't mind that, because we're getting a good amount of content here out of the box if they're adding, more on top of this before the launch, which I believe is June. Same month as my birthday. Can't wait for that. But it's weird. Again, it's only $40. So, but of course you all gonna buy the collector's edition because it's gonna have a bunch of cool stuff like Tracer in Heroes of the Storm, which I will totally review. Alright, so let's look at one of the maps. So I would. Alright, so here are your classes. So you have offense, defense, tank, and support. Now you're going to think okay, these guys kind of play the same, except, with a couple variants. They can actually play wildly differently depending on the map and team compositions. And that's one of the main things with this game. So, okay, so what I would recommend doing if you're starting off with the beta, to really understand this game, I recommend trying to play one from each class. This is not the type of game where you could be I'm going to pick my favorite character, my favorite looking character, oh yeah, Tracer's so cool, I'm going to just keep playing her all the time. No. Don't do that. Because your team and the enemy team will constantly be switching up because certain characters counter others. And that's where the skill ceiling comes in, where you have to learn characters. It's not entirely dependent, you don't have to, know all these stats and have Microsoft Excel up, this counters this, to have fun with the game, but it does help a lot. We're actually going to be playing Mercy really quick, because, well, we don't have a tank, and we don't have, it's easy to show. So, I would recommend this character for support. She's one of the easier ones. She plays very similar to the medic in TF2. She can give other people a boost in damage, or just simply heal, and she could also fly to enemies. Every character in this game has an ult, and things like that can really decide a game, like where you, how you place or use your ult. For example, Mercy can revive everyone nearby on her ult, but you're only dead for a certain amount of time. You automatically respawn. So yeah, welcome to Overwatch. Not a bad looker, right? Yeah, and it'll only get better, hopefully. Game runs very well at mid to high settings, 1080p. Although it's a little bit weird. I don't know why it's kind of locked to 70 right now. It's a little odd. Maybe it's because I had some weird settings on. Anyway. So you can hit left button to heal, right button to increase damage, left shift to fly, Q is your ultimate, switch to weapon, and that's it. So yeah, there aren't a lot of buttons to learn. That's where the low entry comes in. You don't need to learn a ton about each character, and if you ever forget, hit F1. All your information's right here. Very, very useful. Really appreciate that, because it helps you learn the characters a lot faster. Now, I don't want you guys to be discouraged every time, like, let's say you're playing a character and you're just dying a lot. It could be because, you know, you're getting used to the game and you kind of suck, or because the enemy team's countering you. Watch the kill cams. Look at, like, you know, is one specific character able to, you know, beat the crap out of you, and you're thinking, like, God, this character's so overpowered. To that character that you're playing, that character, sorry, might be a direct counter. Oh, Jesus, we're already losing the objective. But another character might counter that. And it's all about teamwork. So, stay in groups of 2 or 3, or just in full groups of 5. Because what you're going to want to do, because oftentimes, you're going to be in situations where if you're probably going to be with something who's going to counter the person that's countering you. And this can seem like a lot to take in, especially when you're playing something like a little bit more faster paced. It's not some turn-based strategy game where you can think all this through. It's all happening very, very quickly. It's like almost like a fighting game in that regard. But you don't need to worry about that too much. Just focus on what you're doing, and if you're dying a lot, just rethink your strategy. What the hell just happened? Did she just use her bomb? Yeah, that's what it was. I got my ultimate, though. So when you switch characters, you will lose your ult, but you can switch characters anytime in the game. And that's, as I mentioned, that's actually literally critical over there. Hold on, let me see if I can actually get over there and start healing my guys. I want to try to get in range. 2 down. Close enough. Okay, I'm contesting, and I think we're gonna lose it. So there's, like, you know, King of the Hill, and then there's like this objective side thing where it's like you capture the objective, then you start the payload, then you move the payload forward. But there's not really, like, they just need more stuff. Like, I would love to see a capture the flag. That would be awesome. And I would like to see, we have a lot of these very vanilla modes in every other game. But you know what's funny is that this game is only charging 40, when a lot of games are charging for all those vanilla modes, barely anything new, for 60. It's kind of hilarious. Or they're doing what Battlefront does and, like, just introduce a bunch of modes no one wants. Or just terrible modes in general. We're gonna switch. We might actually switch it up here. Do we have a tank? We actually do. So, let's try to play. I'm awful at, like, I only have experience with like 2 characters. Okay, so what's this guy's deal? Transcendence. Launch the sword of enemies. Okay, I got that. So this guy's attacking and it increases damage you take, but he doesn't have a lot of health either. But he has great mobility. That's an ultimate, that's Hanzo's ult. That thing can really break up teams, and that's another thing I need to mention. So, when you're playing even offensive, right? Like an offensive class, don't worry too much about your kill-death ratio. That is the most irrelevant thing in this game. And thank God it's like that. And I'm saying like, oh yeah, it's you did your best, Timmy, but you just wasn't good enough. It's all right. No, I'm talking about how it's literally almost detrimental to the game where if you focus just on kills and your team. So let me explain how that works. So you have this. So like I said, you should move in groups and don't do what I'm doing right now. I'm not paying attention, but always move in groups, right? So what if you can attack a guy, get him to low health, all right, and you're like, God, I didn't get the kill. That sucks, right? But what did you do? What did he do in response? He probably ran away from the group, right? If he was on low health, he retreated. There we go, defeat. But he retreated, right? So he broke off from the group, and that's the most important thing in this game is stay in a group. So someone else could pick him off, or someone else could see that. Notice there's 3 people now in a main group, and then unleash their ultimate and pick off the rest. Games have been decided that exact way. There are characters like Winston, like this big gorilla guy who can, like this guy actually right here, who can actually drop barriers to protect people, and also jump over increased lengths, increased distances. And what's interesting about that is that you can have it so you can start jumping over like the enemy lines, like you're playing like a capture points, King of the Hill, capture points, whatever they're called in this game, and you can jump to like the very end of the map where like the enemy team is, and just set up barriers and just kind of move around there, getting shot at, but everyone's distracted on you now. That leaves a huge opening for the offensive team. You also have versus AI if you want to do that. The AI is actually kind of dumb. That's good for practice, I would say, ish, if you play with other players, but it's still not great. You do custom games right here. Let me trying to. I was trying to find an option for something like. It was for something. It was probably for another game that I was thinking of. Anyway. So. I would really like, and now the biggest problem, another big problem, the game trains you, right? But really, it just gives you Soldier 76, which is the most basic character, and just tells you, hey, this shoot, here's your shoot, here's your ult, here's all your things. It doesn't tell you what this game really is, which is a game very focused on teamwork. You might think like obviously it's teamwork focused, but think of Team Fortress 2, right? Yeah, you can play in a team, but you can also have fun playing by yourself and just, like, going off randomly. Like, scout charges forward, engineer, you can camp, heavy can take on a couple guys on his own. Spy, obviously he's going to be all hitting up the enemy team on his own. Here you absolutely have to be on, like, with your team. So, now in that regard, how is solo play? Play, let's play Hanzo. I don't have a lot of experience, though. Okay. We were getting queued in, I guess I didn't realize that. It was just, you can do practice a little bit before the game starts. So how's solo play, though? Okay, if you go in the game knowing all of that, solo is still alright, but I'd still recommend playing with people. It's still a fun game. It does not hold up too well when you're playing solo, but it still holds up. Alright, I guess I'm going sniper. Now notice how, like, these things are right here. If I select something else, it'll be like team tips. You're going to want to do a good composition like this, because that's how the game really just... Actually, we have, I can actually freely choose now, because everyone's playing, like, a good setup here. I'll go with Tracer. So yeah, solo play, not so great, but, I've been having fun still. Playing with, like, one other person's good. Playing with a whole team, that's really fun. The Tracer's ability is right here. She can dash forward, and then she can rewind all of that. And she also retains her health from that starting point. So she can be very annoying to fight, let's just say that. She's one of the more annoying characters to fight against. Now, they said they were going to do free content updates and stuff like that. They're not going to do any season passes or microtransactions, which sounds really good. I just hope that they keep on balancing the game and they don't try to appeal to the people who... I try to refrain from saying, like, some kind of, like, just... Team Fortress 2 fanboys? I don't think that's the right term. Just Call of Duty fan bros, Battlefield bros, just... Overwatch is trying to be clearly something different. And you can't tell that right away. And the game, it's kind of its fault, does a poor job of trying to differentiate it. God, I cannot speak today. It's trying to be those games, but it's also not doing a very good job of telling you that on the surface. When you really get into it, when you hear other people, when you see streamers doing it, you're like, wow, this is actually a really unique idea they have here.
The battle is not over.
I do definitely think it's worth signing up for the beta. You're probably going to be able to run this game just fine. It's got good sound design, too, I gotta say. The character voices are really good. Some people are kind of comparing it in a way to Battleborn in even though they're both very different games. So, Battleborn is like Gearbox's, it's going to be Gearbox's new like multiplayer-esque shooter, and the thing with Battleborn is that they're more focused on directly telling you a story, whereas Overwatch is really more implied. It's like, hey guys, here's this cool universe, maybe you can look more into it later, and we'll give you like hints here and there. They're going to be introducing comics and like books, obviously, which I'm actually excited for reading, because these characters are very interesting, and that's another thing. The character designs are really nice. The next it's basically waifu watch. That's what it is. Alright, I got my bomb. It does take a little bit of time to get used to, because because everyone has this mentality, it's gonna be like every other first-person shooter. It's not. It's very, very different. Nice. Also, do bear in mind that one person can still make a difference, even though I do say that teamwork is a key thing, which it is, of course. I'm gonna just keep hammering that home, guys. But the main thing is... Oh, God. I still killed her. Cool. Now, a lot of times, someone can, like I said, like, there are places where, like, a character like Winston can go away and distract the entire enemy team and cause, like, a win for the game. There's even, like, play of the game at the end of every single game that shows... it's usually a bunch of kills, right? Like, someone taking out the entire team, which is cool to see, but I would like to see more of, like, you know, the little guy, the unsung hero, like the guy who was protecting everyone with a sniper rifle, or the guy who was able to heal the entire team and keep them alive. Although there is ways to give, like, recommendation points at the end of each match if you think someone did good enough, although it only shows a couple people on, like, one screen, so, like, only up to 4 people. So even if you did really well, someone that might have outclassed you, you could have been, like, shoved from the limelight, which is a little unfortunate. It's a very different setup for how it rewards the player and how it rewards teams for cooperating. Something that I wanted Battlefield to do, and Battlefield kind of came close to, like, this, like, you know, Battlefield, obviously, teamwork-oriented, but you can still play it very much solo. And I don't mean solo, like by yourself, I mean solo as in completely by yourself, like, no squad or anything. Because you can just get into vehicles that, like, people can't deal with. not hating on Battlefield, I just think that it has some problems that do need to be ironed out a bit. And without, like, and, you know, I'm not even going to get too much into it, but I mean, like, you know, the way they handled servers in Battlefield 4 was really ridiculous. Oh, Jesus, they're actually going to get this. But I am contesting the point. Until we kick them all off, they will still contest the point, or they will still get that overtime bonus. Come on, I can't believe I died to D.Va there. So yeah, when she, when her mech dies, she goes into, like, her little lolly form. We won anyway, though. Awesome. And that was with me barely paying attention because I'm doing commentary. Hopefully I'll have a full video out when the game comes out. I would really... Oh, awesome. Oh my god, this is like a first for me. And you guys get to experience it with me. Now we find out that I have been recording this entire time and the Elgato's was like just... Or the Elgato's already collected the video. Dude, I'm so surprised. Like, I can't even get this when I'm not doing commentary. So yeah, here's the thing you can do. You can, like, kill participation. Even though I did pretty well. I'll give points to D.Va. You can do it for the enemies too, yeah, but she did pretty well. That's pretty much it, though. Again, there's not too much to review here. I'd love to go into more depth, but it is a little bit tricky, especially when you have all these heroes, and it's like, I would kind of want to do, like, things what I do with, Here's the Storm right now, which is, like, cover individual heroes. But they're not as complex, only when, like, you know, like, in, like, another level, like, you know, that depth that I was talking about, where, you know, some counter this, or some are good in other compositions. It's a little bit hard to analyze that, especially when I don't have a lot of friends to play this game with, because it is still in closed beta testing. But anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. I'll see you next time. I'm out.